Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. I know I've been gone for a while, and as you can see, there are some changes here. This is a new surface we are presenting on, and also you can see that the drop now is red instead of white. The white was kind of getting hard to color balance, it was getting dirty, and it was just getting boring, to be honest. So I decided to go for a change, wanted to get something with a little color to it, and I chose red because the Lego logo is red, because Masters of the Universe, which is my most popular series on this channel, it has red in the packaging, and also my favorite of the superheroes, Wonder Woman, red. And on top of all of that, we have Red Hood to start us off with this new setup. I also have a new sound setup. This is a dry run for everything. I have no idea how this is going to sound or how this is going to look, and I really hope that it all turns out. Now, in the last video I put up with the Batman Biohazard suit, I said this is pretty much me going all in, that if I want to collect DC figures, it's McFarlane, the Multiverse line. So here we go. And this is Red Hood from Gotham Knights, the upcoming video game. And I picked this one because, okay, some history with me and Red Hood. I don't like the concept of Red Hood. I don't like the idea that Jason came back. And if Jason did come back, it should have been Hush, to be completely honest. If you've read the comics, if you're familiar with that storyline, when he took the bandages off and he said he was Jason, that story would have been so much better, and just the whole idea of Jason being back would have been better if it would have been Hush. Because then later, when they did the reveal of Red Hood, it kind of felt like DC Comics was doing a "this is how it should have ended" type thing with Hush, concerning Hush. And I don't like the idea that, Jason Todd Robin 2 was Batman's greatest failure. For him to come back and just be part of the Bat family, I'm a little iffy about that. I'm also not a big fan of the costumes they've given him, where it's just this big shiny red helmet on top of blandness. Now, this is from Gotham Knights, and usually the video game costumes are sort of their own thing. But interestingly enough, this costume from Gotham Knights is very similar, if not a copy, of the outfit he was wearing in, what was it? I believe the series was Batman and Robin Eternal. And I liked that outfit because it wasn't just black body armor with a leather jacket on and a red hood. There was a little bit something more to it. There was a little bit more red in there accentuating it. I like the red bat. I like the idea of the hoodie. It looks more utilitarian with all the pouches and everything. So that's why I kind of liked this character as my Red Hood when it came out. I still think the Hush costume would have been so much better with the H up here where the R for the Robin used to be, and that red domino mask, and just looking like the complete antithesis of the Robin costume. I think that would have been fantastic. But we have the Red Hood, and now we have Gotham Knights Red Hood, and it's in our standard McFarlane packaging with the big window up front, black all around, DC Multiverse on the bottom. Up top, we have another window to let light in through. We have the Gotham Knights logo up top. On the side, Red Hood. On this side, Red Hood, Gotham Knights. And then on the back, we have the image, a promotional image that is no doubt going to be the trading card inside, which is of the figure. And we see some other figures that came out in this line. McFarlane's Wonder Woman, Etrigan the Demon, Batman White Knight. Oh, that's for the Bat Cycle, actually. Dr. Fate and King Shazam, which, But that is what we got. That is my thoughts on Jason Todd and the Red Hood. So let's get this guy open and take a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Red Hood. All right, here he is, Jason the Red Hood, out of the packaging. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the tape measure to him, and we're going to see how he measures up. And to the top of his helmet, to the top of his red hood, he is approximately 7 1/4 inches tall. So he's a little on the tall side for a 7-inch figure, but that only fits for Jason. Okay, now looking at the articulation, we're going to start at the top as we always do. And first of all, his head can do a full 360 spin. He can look up. He can kind of look down. He has some really decent tilt from side to side. His arms will come up past 90. He does a full 360 spin. He has that butterfly joint there in the shoulder. He has his bicep swivel, double jointed elbows with some really great travel. He has those McFarlane swivel hinge swivel that they go in and out, or you can spin them. You can spin them again, and then they can go up and down. I really like this design for the wrists. You can see he has a cut here at his ab, but that's really only for turning, and he can turn all the way around. There's not anything for crunch forward and back, though. There's not really anything for side to side. It's just twist. So once again, unfortunately, this figure has no ab crunch like we've seen with a lot of the McFarlane figures. And for superheroes, especially members of the Bat family, that's unfortunate. The only way he can really pitch forward is if you bend him. Excuse me, if you bend him at the waist, at the hips right there. Okay? So the legs can come out to there. They go forward. They go back. They have that swivel there hidden at the hip. It's a little limited on this one. Not so much on the in, but trying to pull out, it's a little bit more limited than what we've seen. Once again, the crotch piece, much like a lot of the newer figures are, this is a soft rubber, so that whenever you move the legs, it does tend to get out of the way. So you can get them in all kinds of different poses. No thigh cut, no boot cut. Double jointed knees, and I'm sure you can hear those detents in there. That is really stiff. Forward facing pin for some rocker. His ankles go back. His ankles go forward, and he has toe articulation. But in the first part of the video, when he fell over, the ankle detents are one of the reasons that he fell over. Because as we've seen with McFarlane Toys a lot, there's either there, which leans him forward, or there, which leans him back. If you're trying to get him to stand up straight, you kind of got to find a sweet spot right between the detents. If you just want him to be standing in a neutral pose, you kind of got to like ride the detents a little bit, because if you click forward, if you click forward, he falls forward. If you click back, that goes way too far. He's going to fall back. So you kind of got to find that sweet spot in between. Now looking at the Sculpt and the Paint app, I have to say that, like, while the red helmet never really stood out to me, I never liked it so much as a gimmick. I don't know why. Just like this big shiny red dome never really did anything to me, or never really did anything for me. But another reason why I like this version of Red Hood and the Batman and Robin Eternal version is because it has some piping. They added some dimension, some detail to it, where it's like this section right here could pull off, and that would be the front cowling of the helmet, and then you could just take the helmet off. And I like how the eyes are set in this one. This one actually, minus the piping here, this one actually reminds me the most of the animated movie Under the Red Hood, I feel. And I like how it has the furrowed brow in there. You can see the tip for the nose. I don't know. This one just has a little bit more feature to me, a little bit more character to it. And it's a little bit more emotive than just those shiny red helmets. One thing at the back here, you can see that it doesn't really come down far enough to cover the back part of the neck. But that's at the back, so we don't worry about that too much. The hood is a solid piece. You can't pull the hood up, and there's no secondary piece that you could take this off and then have a hood up version, which is unfortunate because that'd be kind of cool. The tassels are not connected to the chest. They're very loose and very thin, but they'll get out of the way so you can see the big red bat symbol on his chest. And I know one of his armored looks also has a big red bat symbol on it. Kind of almost makes him look like Nightwing, if I'm completely honest, but I like this much better. He has these bracers on. He has pouches here on his hips, knee pads, some really nice detailing to the boots as well. Like I said, and like even here you can see the red strapping, the red up here on the forearms, the red running through. It adds a little bit more color, a little bit more character to it. It's a little bit more expressive. I'm just not a fan of the all black armor with the big shiny dome. I don't know. To me, this look is a little bit more expressive, a little bit more character to it, and I just think it fits in better with the rest of the Bat family. Some other gapping we have is right here in the tops of the shoulders. You can see the shoulder trenching at the top whenever his arms are down in a neutral position. You can also see it coming off the back whenever his arms are up, but that's to be expected. That's no problem. But being able to see it like this, I don't know. They could have done something to cover that up, I feel. Like they could have maybe made the hoodie a little bit bigger, a little bit baggier. I understand they're confined by the look of the game. They have to make it look like that, but I don't know. That's a little bit disappointing. It's not a deal breaker. It's just I feel like they could have done better on that. Accessories! Jason may not come with any accessories, but like all the DC Multiverse figures, he does come with this one-peg figure stand with the DC logo tamped on the front. Like all McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, he does have a trading card too for his own for Red Hood, and he has a little bit of a bio on the back here, and it pretty much sums up the story of Jason Todd. So go ahead, pause that, take a read for it. Out of the box for standard fare, Jason comes with a gripping hand and a clenched fist. He also comes with a pair of these Pew Pew finger guns hands because, Warner Brothers doesn't let their figures come with triggered weapons anymore. So I guess they figured this was a acceptable substitute. I don't know. Maybe it plays into the game. We'll have to wait and see. For a size comparison, here he is with McFarlane Toys, Batman from Action Comics 1000, and Rebirth Joker. You can see that his eye line is a little bit taller than Joker's and a little bit lower than Batman's, which puts him in between these two, literally and figuratively, and I really like that. I like that. He fits in well with this setup here. Here he is with Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified, Snake Eyes, and Cobra Trooper. I don't have much in the line of 7-inch figures, but here he is next to NECA Toys, Defenders of the Earth, Flash Gordon, and Ming the Merciless. You can see he's stacking up with Flash, a little bit taller than Ming. I think NECA kind of messed up Ming's scale. Ming should definitely be a little bit taller than that. Here he is beside Lanyard Toys, City Hunter Predator, and Xenomorph Drone, because why not? It's DC Comics, and they've fought everything at this point. And finally, here he is beside Jazzware's Wicked Cool Toys, Master Chief from Halo 2, and Noble 6. So the reason masks like Casey Jones and Jason Voorhees work is because there's some character to them, there's some feature to them. They're not just a blank slate staring back at you. Even something like Ghostface, that mask is very expressive, very emotive. The thing that I never liked about the Red Hood, with that just featureless red dome, was it could come off as looking a little creepy, but once you get used to it, there's really nothing to it. What I like about this one is that it does have features, it does have characteristics, it does have personality, it does emote. That's the reason why I wanted to get this version of Jason as my main Red Hood for the shelf. Like I said, I'm still not really thrilled with Jason being part of the Bat family. I'm still not thrilled with Jason being back, but I'm just one of those fans that thinks he should have stayed dead, or if they were going to bring him back, as I said before, he should have been Hush. Having said that, though, I do understand his place in the Bat family. I understand his importance in the Bat family, and I understand the value of having him back in the family and having just like this team made up of Batman's proteges, whether it's Nightwing, whether it's Red Robin, whether it's Robin, whether it's Red Hood, whether it's Batgirl. Any version of Batgirl. I can see and understand why some members of the fan base like having Jason back, like having him as this anti-hero. The figure, while nothing great, nothing that really pops, nothing that's outstanding, it is my favorite of the looks for Red Hood so far, which, as I said, is why I picked this one up. For as good as he looks, he still does suffer from a lot of the McFarlaneisms, like the ankles, for example. The ankles annoy me no matter what figure, no matter what line it is, that you have to get it balanced on the middle of those detents so that he can stand up straight, otherwise he's leaning forward too far or he's leaning back too far. Right now, on this end shot, he's standing on the stand. You may not be able to see it because it's behind the card, but that's the only reason he's keeping this upright pose for so long. If you're not into the aesthetic of the Gotham Knights, and truthfully for a lot of the other figures, I'm not into the aesthetic of the Gotham Knights. I might get Nightwing just because I need a Nightwing, because I missed the Rebirth Nightwing when he came out, and I'm not a big fan of the red New 52 look for Nightwing, so I may have to get the Gotham Knights one. Other than that, I totally would get why you wouldn't be a fan of the aesthetic. It's very armored, very much in the style of Arkham. Not that there's anything wrong with the Arkham style, I just don't really like it for the superhero team, for the Bat family. Not having any accessories is kind of a bummer. I get that you can't give him triggered weapons, but you could have given him his knife. And I know a lot of other, I think there were two others. I think the other two Red Hoods came with a crowbar too. That would have been neat to include that. It's an accessory they already have, plus they could have given him the knife and put a sheath on his hip or something. Other than that, if you're like me and you're not a fan of the aesthetic of the standard comic book version of the Red Hood and you want something a little different, check this one out. I really like it. As I kept saying during the interview, I feel it adds more character, it has more personality, the costume, the look of it, everything. So that's what I have. I hope the new setup is working, the new sound system, the new drop. I hope it's all working. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at Gotham Knights Red Hood. That is what I have for you today. We have much more coming down the line. I really have dove in on the DC Multiverse line now that I've been holding back for so long, but we have more than that to take a look at too. So until then, play well everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.